good. And an extension to this preface would be that, which applies to all spheres of life, is if you know your ground rules, you should be able to transcend them and do even better. Do your urban sketching and art even better. So let me go into the presentation. I'd like to share my experiences as an urban sketcher, and I would also like to cite examples from other disciplines and try to sort of establish that urban sketching or on-location drawing forms the basis of all art. So I'm looking at urban sketching as creative documentation of high and low life, streetscape, the structure of the ordinary, as I call it. And I'd like to emphasize, I have one slide on it actually, where I share the work of my colleagues here. The reportage technique, which actually is an avant-garde kind of thing. And I consider urban sketching as an avant-garde sketchers, as an avant-garde troupe, and urban sketching as avant-garde art. And of course, urban sketching as a preparatory tool in art, and also the autonomousness of urban sketching as an art form. So these are the basically three segments which I'll talk about here. So creative documentation. I'll share some examples from my journey. So this one is, if you've been to India, you know that we have, you must have experienced the kind of chaos that we have in our urban spaces. And when you come to, when a person like me, comes to the inner core of a European city, he takes some time to sort of get used to the order, and he sort of emerges from the confusion to that order. And you can see the lines, number of lines which I sort of take to prepare myself to achieve that order which is there. These are some scenes from India actually, and some tropical colors used in little monochrome for the bamboo grove. So it's all about being able to choose the right kind of medium, the right kind of style to fit into the context. That's very important. I was actually following this lady, and I did a lot of sort of study while I was moving and she was moving, and it's nothing less exciting than following the bicycle thief in Trastevere area in the famous film. I wish I could actually copy-paste this one, but it didn't happen. So there is this sort of unfinishedness or imperfectness in sketching, which is of course the soul of urban sketching, as against photographic finality. But it's very important to sort of move and capture as many details as possible of the subject that you're depicting. Talking of photography, I thought I'll just show you a couple of images from Henri Cartier-Bresson. And everyone knows about decisive moment and vantage points he takes. But I was actually interested to look at his engagement with the element here, the handrail, and of course the kind of blur he uses here, which probably an urban designer of my caliber would not be able to do, to give life to an otherwise desolate streetscape. Is there something called an urban sketching license? You know, the one on this side, on the left, is a difficult angle. It was done on a moving train, and it's called a two-tier train inside of that. And I was sketching from the other side, from the other side of the aisle, and while I was sketching this, the TTE, as we call him, traveling ticket examiner, he comes into the frame, and he comes midway into the frame. So what I do is to remember the incident. I couldn't possibly have drawn him. I couldn't possibly have sketched him. So to remember his presence, there is a mirror there, and I sort of draw a sketch of him, a kind of a bust of him on the mirror, and color his tie. They still wear that tie. That is the imperial hangover that we have in India from the British times. And the other one is, again, a little license was taken here. This is in an abundant city in the great Mughal times, Fatehpur Sikri. And here a group of singers regularly perform in the open courtyard. And I was focusing on the singers, and I deliberately did not draw the series of cupolas which were behind. So I think urban sketching also needs, the urban sketcher also needs to have this kind of license to omit certain things and focus on elements that he wants to. This is from a guest post of mine in, I think, October last year. It was called Scenes from the Departure Lounge. So I was actually documenting scenes from different airports in India. And on the left, it's a kind of a poster book style which I was doing. And on the right, it's actually a person who was sitting in front of me and slowly sinking. I was in a hurry. I was trying to sort of document him. I thought he would move away, but he was sinking and sinking and sinking. It gave me more and more time, and I captured. It's also in India, what happens is when you lose a close relative, you shave off your head. So perhaps it was a recent grief that he had experienced when he was traveling. But it gave me a wonderful opportunity to capture him. So, again, following the subject and experimenting with different styles and techniques is very important when we are documenting scenes from everyday life in various places. This is the work of one of the best cartoonists and caricaturists, Mario Miranda from Goa in India, and I think this is wonderful urban sketching, though they are classified as cartoons. But I think I wanted to actually present to you here for the sake of initiating a debate on contrapposto. How much exaggeration can we do? How much license of exaggeration can we take to make a scene evocative, to get the sense of the scene? That's a debate which I think we can sort of indulge in. And of course, I was talking about the repertoire style, so I've taken some work from my colleagues here, and I think this is real avant-garde. I mean, combination of various ways of documentation, images, writing, calligraphy, graffiti, journalistic sort of portrayal of event, activity, and it's pretty much in the lines of none other than Leonardo, where he actually does such wonderful artistic way of doing science and representing science. So the question is urban sketching the new avant-garde? And if you're talking about avant-garde, I think we have to talk about the work of Georges Seurat. This is here at AIC, you all know. And a very brief point about Seurat is, while he was within the Impressionist times, he deviated from one style. You can see the pixelation that happens on the canvas. Scale, I mean, he is not restricted to the easel size scale which his Impressionist colleagues were working with, and he argued that art has to reach the people. So the question is, what is the destination of art? Obviously, a 7 by 10 canvas can't be in the living room, a drawing room of a rich man like the Impressionists, the painters' artworks were. So the question here again is, what is the destination of our art? What is the destination of the urban sketches themselves? I think the same applies to Gustave Courbet and his most famous work there, which is 10 by 20. Again, Courbet was avant-garde painter, but the destination is a studio, Musée d'Orsay in Paris. So I think this is a question. I've been going around here in Chicago looking at the works of the best artists in this area of art. The question again is, what is the destination of this art form? Now, briefly, the preparatory nature of urban sketching. Urban sketching as a tool. This is Peter Paul Rubens. You can see the apparently quiet sort of rural scene, but then there is a narrative here. There is a hunter, and there are, you can see what he is trying to kill. So there is a narrative, but there is something very important, I think, central to all art that I was talking about, the principal argument that outdoor is the backstage. Meaning, to do this kind of painting, what is the artist engaged in? He's engaged in documentation, creative documentation, which goes to the canvas. So that's very important. Study. And one of my favorite artists, James W. Turner, if you see his work, I mean, he has had phenomenal sort of study of places he visited. it's legendary, the kind of studies he's done while he was traveling in. I know of his travels in Italy, and the number of books, drawing books he used is phenomenal. I mean, you can see of course, all of us know about his obsession with the sea and the in its all furiousness, so to speak. And this one is apparently his first sold canvas in the US, and the buyer said that his Turner's work is indistinct, to which he said that indistinctness is my forte. So I just wanted to show how the sort of movement from his study, I mean, I wanted to show the movement of his study from his study to final product, canvas. And then the works of the masters, Edgar Degas in pastel, Georges Seurat. Here also you can see the kind of pointillist work you would see in his big canvases. And I'll very briefly talk about this one, which is from a study of, not executed actually, study of Battle of Costina, which was supposed to have been done on the wall of Palazzo Vecchio, along with Leonardo, who would do the work on the other wall. So this is the famous duel between the great masters. And of course, the works were never executed, and they come to us as studies. Apparently Niccolo Machiavelli was the one who was coordinating this so-called duel, and there are lots, and it didn't work, but there are lots of Machiavellis here who made this meeting of artists a success. Leonardo's drawings. This is actually the other work which is supposed to have been on the other wall of the same room. It's called the Battle of Anghiari, based on which there is a very famous standalone, I would say, a drawing of Peter Paul Rubens, which I'll show later. This is the work of Satyajit Ray, the Indian filmmaker. I just wanted to show you the preparation that went into his filmmaking. This is a storyboard of his first film. It's called The Potted Panchali, translated into English would be Song of the Little Road. Here, he needed this kind of preparation because, filmmakers like him were always working within a shoestring budget, and they had to plan the entire film out. And in his own language, he couldn't afford long lengths, and the film had to literally cut in the camera. And you can see again the way the film is shot on the studio, pretty much like the neorealist Italian filmmakers or the French Nouvelle Vague filmmakers. And this film, this one is actually a storyboard of a film which he planned and was never executed. This was a film which was to be made on the sitarist Ravi Shankar, who did the score, the background score for this film, his first film. But this was never made. recently a book has been published on which has the storyboard and its sketches, and it can easily be considered as standalone artwork, which actually was a preparation and sketch, the overall plan for the film that was going to make on the musician. This is the painting, this is the drawing that I was talking about. Peter Paul Rubens's work on Leonardo's plan, sketch. This is at the Met, and this obviously is a work which can easily be classified as standalone work of art, like this one as well, which is at the AIC. I think we need to, when we talk about the urban sketching goals, are there any goals of urban sketching? For instance, there is this, there is this water mafia happening in our cities, and and this is the tractor, and there would be typically a big tanker attached to the tractor of 5,000 to 7,000 liters capacity, which would have a pump attached to it, sucking water from the ground. Now, the assumption is that if you have ownership of land, you have ownership of aquifer, and in the process, the entire aquifer is destroyed. When you sketch this, it probably has a kind of a inherent sort of protest in terms of documentation that this can be, taken forward to launch a campaign against this, the way the aquifer is destroyed. So urban sketching probably has some purpose, and it also it doesn't actually. So ultimately it's all about the beauty of form that we're looking at. So I was thinking, I personally think urban sketching, urban scene is absolutely incomplete without people, without movement. So, it's difficult. It's difficult. We have had workshops on documenting people on the move and all that. So I was thinking if we could, work out some technique of very quickly, drawing people. So I have a personalized template where I'm sort of doing a couple of some figures of Indian classical musicians. This is of course a specialized one, but such templates can be done for different occasions, in different contexts, and which may help us to document an urban scene faster than we can do with human figures and the entire scene complete. A string instrument here, a tabla, percussion instrument, another one, shenai, kind of a wind instrument, and a vocalist. And you know that you can very well understand that these sketches take very little time, within a minute. So you can always develop such personalized templates to get our urban scenes right and complete better. So some more. I think that's about it. Urban sketching as an art form, I think how we look at it, what is the destination, what are the quick ways of achieving a good urban scene, are certain concerns that we all share. I think it makes sense to talk about these and many other things which we perhaps can talk about in some other context. Thank you.
Great provocative lecture. Thank you very much, Tapas, for doing that for us. Today's a wrap. Thank you all for participating. We'll see you here at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.